LinkedIn echo chamber. We're back with Nandu. Yesterday, he was telling us how he went to San Francisco to chase his dream of launching his machine learning company. He has arrived in San Francisco by this point. He is seeking validation of his idea, and he is seeking meetings with investors and engineers that can support him on the project. Nandu, I'd like you to take the story up from here as to those two sides. Really, I'd love for you to tell us, your pursuit of validation and who you spoke to and how you worked on that. And then I suppose any notable meetings and just how you even got those meetings. I'd love to hear from you.
Okay. So the first thing I did was, there's so many events happening every day. It could be pitching competitions or it could be founders meet. So the first thing I did was signed up to as many as possible. But I'd be honest, the most effective one was the YC Founders platform. So for those people who are not familiar, Y Combinator is one of the most influential accelerators in the world. So companies like Dropbox, Airbnb, Stripe, they were all created at YC. So they have a founders platform where you could actually meet and engage with interesting people. And the breadth was just unbelievable, John, right? You had 18-year-old computer science students. You had people who exited their companies not once or twice or thrice for hundreds of millions of dollars. You'd believe these were fake profiles till I actually met them. Or you had people in their 40s or 50s who were first-time founders who wanted to get into it. So that was really interesting. Now, the other thing what I found out was it could be the fear of missing out. You could literally write a note to anyone, and if they found that your idea was compelling, they'd meet you for a coffee. So that was great. I can tell you more if you have time about some of the phenomenal people I managed to meet while I was there.
We've got time. And Nandu, I know your working style and how committed you are once the passion starts bubbling up. Can you tell us about your schedule that you kept whilst you're out in San Francisco? Like, so, you're trying to bring your idea and your business to life and capture support. What was take me through a typical day?
A typical day was non-stop, right? Because as you know, John, we had some engineers in India. We had, colleagues like yourself in Germany and Sweden and the UK. So you literally started really early in the morning. Is because, San Francisco, as you know, was right at the end of all time zones.
Mhm.
So it was a long day. And then, my first, week or two, I did quite a lot of that before I reached there as well. Literally, reach out to a lot of people. I use tools like PitchBook, which was very, very helpful, wrote a lot of emails and then had back-to-back calendar meetings with people all over the place. A lot of it was in person. Some of them was still, remote because of the pandemic. And then, you were going and taking part in various pitching competitions and a lot of social drinks. Just, there's an interesting story, right? As you know, being a founder, I was on a tight budget. So I wasn't taking Ubers. I was actually taking the public transport. And, in America, unlike in Europe, it's the real poor who actually take the public transport. But I actually started talking to a guy who was actually a security guard next to where I live. And he started talking about companies I need to invest. He started talking about P earnings of this company, A, B, and C. And I was like, San Francisco is unique in various ways. It's a place where dreams are made. And but what I also like to add is I mentioned you could meet anyone and everyone. You could, but in 30 seconds, and I've had this several times, if it's not relevant for them or if it's not interesting, they literally tell you on your face to get out or politely say, not for me.
So in Britain, we would suffer like a 60-minute meeting and tell you it was brilliant and let you go and never.
Just saw that, John, right? We've been in meetings where people say, "Oh, Nandu, I love what you're doing. We need to catch up in 4 to 6 weeks' time. I'll get my EA and PA to kind of set up something." What I found in the US, or at least in the West Coast, no concept of EAs and PAs. If you're interested, it'll be, you could be a millionaire, billionaire. I actually met a few guys who set up unicorns. It was them emailing and setting up meetings, not their PAs.
Good, Nandu. Thank you for taking us through that. I'm going to want to jump into some of these key meetings, some of the most impactful ones you had, but we're going to do it tomorrow when we post another update. So thanks for taking us through that. And don't worry, Nandu, the part about lots of social drinks, I'm going to edit that out so your wife can't see it. Okay.
All right, Joe. Thanks.
Good. Thanks, folks.